Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for a special edition of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, the Netflix movie Army of the Dead. That's right, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, the one that everyone's been waiting for. Before I get down to it, let me take care of some business, then we'll get down to it. How about that? If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you can, hit the like button and the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. This is not on the schedule because this really wasn't planned. It was kind of a last minute thing. But I also have the links to my social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. And I have my pages up for this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and for those of you who have a Facebook, for those of you who still have Facebook, I have a great Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. So, as promised, this is the spoiler free zone right now that we're going to go through. So, no spoilers will be given away. Not that there really are any spoilers to this because it's a Zack Snyder movie, so there's really not much plot to it. So the first thing that I thought of when this is a Zack Snyder movie and it popped into my head, I'm like, it's either 2.5 to 3 hours long. It is a 2.5 hour long movie. So that is something to keep in mind if you're going to watch this. It is, I am under no illusion that my opinion holds any sway one way or the other. If you're going to see it just is another opinion as far as I'm concerned if you're out there watching this. So it's not going to keep you from watching it or make you watch it either way. So I already know this, and I preface that as well. It's a 2.5 hour long movie. Yes, it's on Netflix. You can pause it and stuff like that, but yeah. It doesn't really know where it wants to go and what it wants to be. And there are some interesting ideas throughout this movie. And essentially, what it is, it's a uh, zombies in Las Vegas. The town is walled off, and it's a heist movie where people are going to go in and steal some money from a vault in a casino. That's what it boils down to, right? And it wants to be a couple of other things as well while you're going through this, and there's stuff that's added in, but there's no character development. Or there's character development for some characters that get lost at the end anyway, and the main characters get no character development, and not much is explained, and you can tell that it's all inside the director's head as to what he wants or what he thinks is going on the screen, but doesn't show anybody any of this. And it's pretty much like any other Zack Snyder movie. And I really feel bad for the dude at the very beginning of the movie here, Michael Cassidy, who we've seen, of course, in Resident Alien. He plays Dr. Ethan Stone, the really nice doctor who comes in about midway through the season of season one. He was also in Zoom. He's been in other things too. He also played Jimmy Olsen in Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Love. There, the brief, and he's in this one too in the very beginning. So he is, I guess, part of Zack Snyder's crew now. And I just hopefully this guy gets better representation and starts getting some movies and TV shows that he can actually be in and get recognized for it. He's not a bad actor. It's just you need to move away from Zack Snyder, dude. That's all I'm going to say. So is it worth your time? No, it's not worth your time. It's really dumb. I'm sorry to say this, but I wanted to be in on this. I really did want to be in on this I like zombie movies. I like heist movies too. And this seemed like it would have been fun. There are some ideas in here that if they had been focused on in the 2.5 fucking hours that you had to work with it, would have actually paid off. And I'm going to get to that in the spoiler section in a little bit here. But the entire first hour is a fucking waste of time. It really is. This could have been edited down to a 90-minute movie fairly easily, and even less than that. This could have been an, hour and 10-minute long movie, really, and still gotten with a competent director and a competent writer, and you could have gotten the same point across and done it much better. And Dave Bautista, I'm sorry, dude, stop trying to act because it's not working. It was painful to fucking watch, to the point where I actually started to fast forward through some of your scenes. Stick with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I know you're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be your last movie if you're out there watching. Stick with the fucking day job, dude, because this isn't working. It really isn't. There, I said it. That is about as spoiler free as I can go with that. From here on out, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the rest of the movie. If you have not seen the movie, good for you. Fuck you. I'm kind of jealous about it, but I am going to spoil away now at this point. I'm really going to fucking spoil away at this point because this movie fucking pissed me off. So there we go. Sorry, Pepper. I didn't mean to wake you up. Stanley Twill says the Snyder movie. What did you expect? Are the zombies any good? Stanley asked me. So there are supposedly 3 different kinds of zombies. You have your alpha zombies. So you have the zombie king. And again, this is not fucking explained except for one throwaway line from the coyote who says there's an alpha zombies which can think and reason, I guess, and whatnot. There are the ones that are bitten by the alpha zombies become shamblers, and there's something in between, I guess, as well. Yes, you have the zombie tiger, which looks cool and whatnot, and you have a zombie horse. It's in there for like maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. Not really what you want to fucking base your movie on. The thing that got me was the whole father-daughter thing between Batista and the woman playing his daughter. Ella Purnell is her name. And there are scenes where they are trying to, I guess, emote. But the thing is, you don't have any backstory on them. You don't understand why they are not talking to each other, except they finally say, they finally tell you about midway through the fucking movie about why they're not talking to each other, which you didn't know they weren't talking to each other because it's not shown in the movie at all. Again, it's in the director's head, but it's not fucking shown in the movie. So we don't know that there's tension going on between these characters. And then they try and have a Hallmark movie moments, at different points when they should be getting their fucking ass in gear because a nuke is getting ready to go off in town. They're going to drop a nuke on Las Vegas and destroy it because all the zombies are there. Yes, there is supposed to be a political commentary in this as well, but it is so fucking short-handed that you don't realize that it's supposed to be political commentary. And that is the walling off of Las Vegas, supposed to be the wall along the border. The whole camp of people that were undesirables are sent to, which is a small camp. It looks like maybe 50 people are living there. You don't really know how many people are living there because they don't tell you. Yeah, it's a really fucking dumb movie is really what it is. Yeah. And Apple Crow says, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." They're done. Yeah, and then the whole thing about the zombie king impregnating the zombie queen, and she's carrying a zombie child. I was kind of intrigued by that idea, but they didn't go anywhere with it. Then why was a zombie king also taking, non-infected humans, putting them in a room, and then dragging one off at a time? That was never explored either. What was going on with that? We don't know because, again, they didn't expand on it. They had 2.5 hours to do any of this, but it was all wasted. It really was. Also, some of the more interesting characters to me were the side characters, not even the main characters. You had Dieter, who was the safecracker, played by Matthias, and I'm gonna botch his name, but it's Schweifhager. Schweifhofer. Okay, there we go. He was actually really good. Vanderho as well, played by Omari Hardwick. Their interaction was actually really damn good. I liked both of them together. They did a really good job together. As well as, and then I'm blanking on his name right now. Mikey Guzman, played by Raul Castillo. I actually liked him as well. The rest of the characters I could give shits about. Tig, what's her name? Tig Notero, who they spent millions on wiping out one actor who had some assault charges against him. They spent millions wiping him out and putting her character in was fucking annoying. I don't like Tig Notero. She's probably a great comedian, I guess. I don't like her personality. I don't like her. I don't know what it is about her. I just don't like her. And fucking annoyed me and took me out of the movie every single time she came in. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Apple Crow. Oh, the less said about her, the better. So, Keith Hamilton says, "Why did they have a safe cracker when the owner knew the combination?" Yeah, exactly. Why did they have a safe cracker if the owner knew the combination? Um, they also were going in there not really to get the money, but actually to go and get an alpha zombie head is really what it was. So the head of security for Bly Tanaka, who's played by Hiroyuki Sanada, who is a great actor, but completely wasted here. So his security guy is brought in order to, of course, steal a head from an alpha. And I don't know. Honestly, if I was writing this, I would have just completely switched the heist movie around to going in to go get the head and making the money part of that that endeavor be kind of a side mission, if you will. And I would have changed everyone to ex-military, and basically they had been screwed over, and this was their retirement fund, if you will, and doing it that way, and completely change this whole plot around because it didn't work for this movie to begin with. To be, yeah, it was just a shitty movie all the way around. Apple Crow says her only funny line was on that. No, it wasn't funny actually. Apple Crow. It was dumb. Her entire thing was dumb, and just like the zombie tiger was dumb. It was a dumb addition to it. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't needed. And the only thing that was actually kind of cool, which would have been interesting, is when Vanderho is sitting there with Dieter, and they're in the safe hallway, if you will, and they're seeing the dead bodies of the previous guys that Bly has sent in beforehand, and they're all dressed in the same clothing as they are. And he goes, "Well, what if this is all just another redo of what if it's another reality where we've already gone through this before?" And I actually kind of like that, of this whole idea of that they've been through this all before, but the alternate versions of themselves, and that they are coming through. And I'm like, okay, that would have been a much better idea to begin with. Why didn't you do that movie then, Zach? Because that was a good idea. And I was actually excited about that idea. And I was like, you bring this up halfway through the movie. Why didn't you do it? That would have been a better movie. Oh my God. And then the whole thing with Gita, the one that the coyote brings in, and she gets captured by the zombie king, and that Dave Bautista's daughter, Kate, is on the lookout for, and they find her at the end, right? And they're on the plane. I actually rewatched this because I couldn't remember what the fuck happened to her. The whole reason for Kate's motivation to go back into Las Vegas was to get Gita out so that she could look after her kids, because she didn't want to look after the kids, because no one wants to look after somebody else's fucking kids, in this respect anyway. Um, so they get her on board the helicopter. The zombie king, of course, jumps on the helicopter with them. They fight. Dave Bautista shoots through the zombie king's head, obliterating the head, and you see the bullet still going as it passes through the zombie king's head, and it basically it's heading towards the engine of the helicopter because he's shot up. All right, that's one thing. The helicopter crashes. We see that the blade has gone through Tig Notaro's chest. Thank God, fucking killing her. We see that Kate has spilled out onto the ground. We see that Dave Bautista's character, who has been bitten by the Zombie King, is turning into a zombie, and he's going to become the new alpha. And she shoots him in the head, but no Gita. Gita was actually in the fucking passenger seat. She saw the nuke coming because we close up on her face. But again, no Gita after that. All you see is her in the passenger seat looking at the nuke flying towards Las Vegas, and that's it. We get nothing else right there. She is gone at that point. No other mention of Gita at that point. So the whole reason for Kate going in, her whole motivation is obliterated at the end. We don't even know what happened to her, if she made it or not. I mean, Batista's character even pulls out money that he had pulled from the safe that he was hidden someplace up his ass or something like that, and says, "Here, this will buy Gita's children freedom," kind of thing, and you can get them out. Okay, well, where the fuck is Gita at then? Like I said, you have 2.5 fucking hours to actually work this shit out, and you really just screw the entire pooch. You waste it on some, and also the money, dude. You spent fucking millions on getting Tig Notara put into this fucking movie, yet you do really shitty covers of really good songs, like "Bad Moon on the Rise." I actually had to fucking mute it because that cover was so fucking bad that my ears were bleeding. I was watching with the subtitles, so I was actually able to tell when the song was over with, and I was able to put the mute off on that point. Good God. The Richard Cheese version of Viva Las Vegas is funny, but that's because I've seen Richard Cheese live. I know what it is. It's actually fucking annoying, though. It really is. So that opening sequence, it would have been better to have the Elvis version, quite honestly, or even the Wayne Newton version of it would have been better. The Cranberries zombie song at the end, which was too fucking on the nose, is just stupid. It really is, considering that it has nothing to do with zombies other than the title. There we go. Apple Crow says, only a good thing there weren't any zombie birds. Yeah, I know. So Philip Ademic says, Army of the Dead on the money plane, possibly somewhere around there. Yeah, Army of the Dead, Ocean's 11 is really what it was. Keith Hamilton says Tig Notara is horrible in Star Trek Discovery, which you are fortunate not to have seen. Yeah. I don't know what picture she has of certain people that she's blackmailing in order to get into fucking TV and movies, but someone needs to like burn those negatives so that she never gets work again, because she fucking sucks. Oh man. Apple Crow says maybe the crash made her spaghetti. Oh, I'm tempted to put you on mute now, Apple Crow, because of that one. I really am. Oh my God. Raymond KS says, "Oh great, we're talking about how bad the music, guys. I fracking hated the music." You can say "fucking." I didn't mute that out of the chat there, Raymond. Yeah, the fucking music in this was just god awful. It really was. Oh my God. Yeah, I could have played the nose harmonica and done a better job with the music in this movie, because this was just horribly, horribly bad. They did get the rights, I guess, to Do You Really Want to Hurt Me from, Culture Club, which is played as elevator music. So, I mean, and that was the only thing I actually thought was funny. Was, yeah, when the elevator starts up and no one has any fucking radios. Did you notice this? They did at the beginning. I mean, they are talking to Tig, asking her how long it's going to take for the helicopter to come up and running when she's having the problems, and she's on the radio going, "Yeah, everything's good, everything's fine," as everything's falling apart on the helicopter. And then you see no radios whatsoever. So everyone has to go to where each other are in order to find out what they're doing, instead of radioing in and going, "Hey, what's taking so long in the vault?" You know? Yeah, this was just a shitty movie all the way around. It really was. There were again, like I said, there were ideas in here that if they had been explored correctly, if they had been thought out, if they had been fleshed out, and then yeah, it would have been better. I mean, this was a first draft, is really what this was. This was a first draft script that had no editor to it, didn't get a rewrite, and just went straight into production. And it showed. It was fucking horrible. It needed to be rewritten by a competent writer at least 4 or 5 more passes in order to get a competent script out of this. And then it needed to be edited down to at least 90 minutes, not 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours is an hour too long on this one. Especially since you didn't give us anything in the beginning. There was a lot of wheel spinning in the beginning, and it really reminded me of Justice League, the Snyder cut of Justice League, where there's a lot of wheel spinning. There's no traction getting going, and you're just kind of going, "Are we going any place with this? What's happening?" So, Sucker Punch was actually better, Stanley. I have to admit, Sucker Punch was a better movie than this one was. It really was. Yeah, I'll go out on a limb there, and I will say Sucker Punch was a better movie than this. Stanley says most reviews just complain that it's too long. Mork says made it, but I'm a bit late. When's the encore? Bastard. Applecrest on the upside. It's my second favorite Zack Snyder movie. Really? Hey, Mr. Roboto. Raymond K. Hessel says $200 million in hundreds would weigh. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Raymond. That was the other thing too. Is I'm like, okay, so are you guys going to wheel this money out, and have you taken into account the people that you have involved with you getting aboard that Huey, which I believe can only seat 8 people, if I remember correctly, and that's including the pilot, by the way. Plus, you have these bags. If you're trying to get $200 million out, that's a lot of fucking weight, and I didn't know how they were going to do it. So, yeah, yeah. I I can't recommend this movie anywhere near recommend this movie. I would say stay far, far, far away from this movie as you can. If you really want to watch it, just have your finger over the fast forward button and put the subtitles on. That's really the way to do it. And also have the mute button on too, because it's just fucking horribly bad. I mean, the Zombie King was an interesting idea. It really was. The zombie pregnancy, I was like, okay, that would have made another better movie. Why the Zombie King was taking people away or holding them, alive and then dragging one away at a time. What was he doing with them? We don't know, because again, it was never shown to us, other than you had the Border Patrol agent guy, played by the guy from Sons of Anarchy, who ends up getting bitten, and then they kind of waste his character too. I mean, he comes back. Was he a shambler? Was he an alpha? We don't really know, because he got shot pretty early on. I mean, as a zombie, he gets his head exploded, and it's like, okay, obviously he wasn't an alpha then at that point, because he wasn't dodging bullets. Mr. Roboto says, so better than Bloodshot. Bloodshot was better. Applecrow says, how long do you think Zach will wait until announcing? There's a lot. I'm sure we're going to hear something by Monday, Applecrow, that there's a longer cut. There's a Snyder cut for this one, which all his fans are going to go, really? Give me more. I want to eat more of this shit sandwich. Give me some more. You know who you are out there, motherfuckers. Release the Snyder cut, my fucking ass. Raymond K. Hessel says this thing wanted to be too many things. It even got dramatic. Like, yeah, I know, dude. So when they start doing the Hallmark movie music, when he's been bitten and he's coughing at the side of the outside the helicopter and he's changing, which by the way, he takes like 5 fucking minutes to change, and the army dude who got bit, on the neck changes like in 30 seconds. And yet, Batista's character takes like 5 fucking minutes. He got bit, shot the zombie king's head, they crash, he falls out of the plane or the helicopter, he's off to the side there. He has enough time to tell Kate his final wishes of what kind of taco truck he wants to make, gives her the money, tells her what she should do with her future, and also plans an entire investment portfolio for her for that money, as well as sets up a trust fund for her in the meantime and all of this stuff, and then fucking finally changes into the zombie. I mean, oh my fucking lord, man. Yeah, it was just fucking horrible. Really fucking horrible. Uh, plot armor, exactly. I did like that the Zombie King made that armored skull piece. That was actually kind of cool. I was like, that's ingenious. That's actually cool. They did a good job on that one. But yeah, the rest of this is just crap. I mean, complete and total crap. I mean, I knew it was going to be bad at the very beginning when you've got the two army guys discussing. They're basically doing far out theories about what the hell they're hauling out of Area 51 because they supposedly came out of Area 51, and it's kind of like it's the extended cut of no, you know what it is? It is all the boring stuff that you get in real life as it is before shit happens. And it's like, so what do you want to do? What do you want to eat for dinner? I don't know. What do you feel like eating? I don't know. I could go for pizza. Really? I feel more like chicken. In the meantime, the asteroid is speeding towards Earth, right? Um, well, I did chicken last night. What do you think about spaghetti? Spaghetti's a little bit overdone, man. How about we go and get tacos? Tacos sound good, but I don't know. Do you want to get carnitas or do you want to do carne asada? Well, I'm trying to watch the weight and my cholesterol. So the doctor says I probably should go more, veggie. Really? Veggie, man? Then why are we going out for tacos? This is literally what's going on as the asteroid is speeding towards Earth. And that is what you see in this Zack Snyder movie. This is what happens when you don't have a fucking editor. When you have a director who people are afraid to say no to at this point, because they know what's going to happen is his rabid fan base is going to go out there and go, release the Snyder cut. We want to see 15 more boring hours of little talk going on. And this is also the Quentin Tarantino principle as well, in effect, where you get boring dialogue because no one knows how to say no to the director and have a rolled up newspaper and smack him in the nose. Say no. That's not how we do things here. You want to speed this shit up, motherfucker. It pissed you off, Raymond? As you can tell from from what I've been doing lately, it's really pissed me off. It really did. Raymond says this movie pissed me off. I might even start a fuck Snyder YouTube channel. Dude, all the more power to you. If you want to do a fuck Zack Snyder channel, I will promote you at this point. Yes. Let me know if you're doing it. No, Mr. Roboto, I will not do a Zack Snyder cut review of this piece of shit movie because that'll be a 15-hour long movie. And no one other than his fans. What are they down to? Like 15,000 people? Is that what it is? Yeah. Raymond says even the zombie baby scene that had been done better in Dawn of the Dead. I think that was just because that was a different writer, Raymond. I believe that was the reason why it was better. Applecrow says I was hoping they would call back to the soldiers talking about what they were hauling by explaining what they were hauling. Yeah. But no. Applecrow says it was worth seeing to get animated, pissed off Dennis. I love a good rant, especially when he's right. The thing is, I was so pissed about this movie that it's been percolating in my head since I watched it Friday night, and it's just been percolating, and that's why I decided to do this today. because I don't think I could have waited till Tuesday. I probably would have literally exploded someplace at work and just gone off. I would have cornered somebody in the hallway someplace and just ranted for like an hour and a half straight at them, which wouldn't have been a good thing. Yeah, Gravity's a shitty movie too, Apple Crow. I agree. Gravity is a really shitty movie. The Zombie King also percolated. Kind of. He did. And they were kind of inconsistent with his size. I didn't know if he was supposed to be giant or if he was supposed to be regular sized because of what they were doing with the camera perspective of where it was. And I was like, so what is he, Zach? Can he change size at will? Can he go giant? Can he go small? Can he be super strong now? Is he just regular strength? What the hell, man? So you're welcome, Stanley. If I could save anybody 2.5 hours of fucking pain of not seeing this movie, it's all the more worth it. It really is. Mr. Roboto says, I saw Gangsters versus Zombies. It's exactly what it sounds like, boring and dull, because crime is boring and dull. Well, yeah. Well, you can actually have good heist movies and make them exciting. It just depends on your writer, excuse me, and your director. And also, let me just also mention fucking lack of Steadicam. We have Steadicam invented for a reason. When every time I see a scene where it's supposed to be still, where you have two people talking to each other and the camera's basically doing that all the time and it's just vibrating like that, it fucking annoys me. It really fucking annoys me. I can see that on my big screen TV. I can see that. It just really fucking annoys the shit out of me. There's a reason why we have Steadicam. The other thing too, when he wasn't having the zombies in focus, and I couldn't figure out what the reason for it was, because you didn't have characters that were beaten up or starving or lack of water or anything like that. It was just so that you can obscure not looking directly at the bad makeup job. I don't know what it was. So what about shallow focus? It works for different things. I mean, what is it? There's a rack focus as well, which Sam Raimi uses all the time. So rack focus is where your foreground and your background are actually in focus together, but you change perspective so it looks like your foreground, usually it's your character, is being zoomed into the background is what it looks like. And it's kind of supposed to be a sense of foreboding or a sense of realization. And yeah, like I said, Sam Raimi uses it all the time. And he uses it usually for his characters that finally realize something. It's like, or Spider-Man when he's getting spider sense and it kind of zooms in on Tobey Maguire, but your background still stays in focus as well. It's a really cool effect. Not a lot of people use it, and especially not a lot of music directors, video directors like Zack Snyder here know how to use it either. And so it doesn't get used all that often. And it could be used to really good effect if you have someone who's competent in the way of doing cinematography or directing. Someone who went to film school essentially and learned all this stuff. Yeah. Mork says the whole movie can be summed up as to how a marriage ruined the world. No, man. I don't know about that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that one, man. But yeah, that's going a little too far on that one. Snyder was DP on, yeah, I know. I know he was DP on this, Stanley. That's the reason why I kind of went off on that rant there. Because you could tell that it was someone who doesn't know anything about camera work whatsoever that was fucking doing that. I'm sorry, but he doesn't. And I say this as someone who has a blurred out background, and I know my camera is blurred out because of this camera, which I'm probably going to change out at some point in time here because I like my flat background which I want to go back to. I got another camera, which I'm probably going to use. So I'll probably switch out to that. Raymond says, "Can I ask a really quick question? Really quick, some of your most favorite shots in a movie. Now that we're on the subject, oh, I would say if you want to see like a near perfect scene that's shot, and again, I'm going back to Sam Raimi, Spider-Man 2, when they're trying to remove the tentacles from Doc Ock in the operating room, that is probably one of the best shot scenes in modern cinema that you're going to see. He uses every fucking trick in the book, including that rack focus that I talked about. He does use that, and that is probably one of the best shot scenes in there. Of course, you have the North by Northwest scene with Cary Grant running through the cornfield with the plane coming out over him. That's a great scene as well. Um, mm, Trying to think what else. There's a couple of scenes from Superman, the very first, the Donner movie, um, which are just like beautifully shot scenes, and it's just of him flying, over the city, kind of serene moments that are really good. Um, Man, I'm trying to think of specific scenes now, but you put me on the spot there. Uh, the Vader versus Luke fight scene in Empire is good, but it's not fantastic. It's not like one of the great ones. Uh, Great one says, "I'm a fan of the long shots and the good, the bad, and the ugly," and Lawrence of Arabia. Yeah, those are good ones too. So, like I said, I went through a whole bunch of classes where we went over different movies and we broke them down and all that kind of stuff. This is a long time ago. Um, and so, yes, I definitely have some of my favorite directors. Um, Doug Liman, like I've said before, Doug Liman does fantastic shots. Um, Go is a perfect example. It's his sophomore movie. The Las Vegas chase scene, car chase scene, is probably one of my favorite car chase scenes ever put to film. And that is shot so beautifully as well, that and blocked so well too, that it's probably almost perfect in its car chase scene. Yeah. Dante S says, "Just got in, but I fell asleep watching this one." You saved yourself, Dante. Your brain turned yourself off so you don't have to watch it. Uh, Dennis Villeneuve movies bore the shit out of me, Stanley. I'm sorry. They really do. I'm sorry, man, but yeah. Albuquerque says, "Well, that's more emotional. For visuals, the trench run." Um, I don't know, man. The trench run is great technologically because they did that with miniatures, and the that's a great technological shot that they put that all together, and that they did it in pretty much they did it in slow motion and then ramped it up a bit so you get that, you know, really fast movement going in. That's actually a really cool shot the way they did that technologically. But I can't say anything for me in the original trilogy of Star Wars was great shot wise. I mean, the wipes are fantastic. They had never been done before, but there isn't anything that really stands out to me. Raymond says, "No one did zombies better than Romero." Yeah, I know. And the thing is, he even lamented this too before his death, was that everyone just does zombie movies for horror. They don't do any kind of commentary or anything. And like I said, you could see that Zach was thinking about doing some commentary in this. You could tell that the president that was in charge at the time is supposed to be Trump. That's what he's got in there. Um, because there's some moments in there. There's even Jeff Spicer, the former White House correspondent, or he's in it. He's on TV behind behind Dave Batista when he's looking at the blueprints, and Sean Spicer. Thank you, Apple Crow. So he's in it when they're talking about nuking Las Vegas and all that kind of stuff. So there is something in there that's supposed to be a try at political commentary within this movie, and it fails utterly. I mean, it just completely fails utterly because he doesn't commit to it. And so you don't know what he's trying to say. And he even abandons it. You can tell it's like he's like, this would be kind of funny, and then kind of stops and like, no, okay, I'm gonna go and do this then instead. And he just doesn't commit to it, which would have been actually fun, pretty fucking funny if he actually did commit to it, but he didn't. It really is like he gets distracted by shiny objects, like almost repeatedly while he's making this movie. He's like, well, this would be cool if we did that. Oh, wait a minute. This would be cool if we did this. Oh, wait a minute. This would be cool if we did this. And he really gets distracted. He starts something off and then doesn't finish it. He starts off with an idea and then doesn't finish it. And that's what this whole movie is. It's a lot of really good starts and some interesting ideas with no follow through and no endpoint to them. And therefore, you get a lot of different ideas that go nowhere. And ultimately, you have kind of a shit movie. Mr. Roboto says maybe Adam Sandler will do a zombie movie. Well, he'll probably want to go to Hawaii again, Mr. Roboto, if that's the case. Or maybe he's done with Hawaii and will want to go to Tahiti or something like that. Because that's pretty much what he does Netflix movies for, is to take all his friends and family on vacation. Apple Crow says, that's the worst part of the movie because the setting is very interesting that isn't explored at all. I know. And the thing is that they spent so much money on this. They spent a ton of money on this, and it could have been so much better if you had a competent writer, you had a competent director, you had a competent editor, and you had a competent DP as well. Those are 4 things that you needed in this movie. And the editor really needed to be solid on this one too. Raymond says, I really did like the zombie tiger, though. That's about it. The zombie tiger was an interesting idea, but again, like I said, there wasn't anything. Yeah. I mean, if this was shot more in the Zombieland style, I know Movie Finobi was here really early on and has left now, but he was talking about Zombieland, and I was thinking of if you had shot this in the Zombieland style, where you have someone talking to the audience and having some graphic overlay and stuff like that, almost playing this out like a video game, you could have done so much better with this movie and even played it up as a horror comedy and come out much better looking than what it did, and also focusing some of the ideas. There were so many things that could have been done to this movie to make it better. It really there were so many different things that could have been done to this movie to make it better, and it's a fucking fail attempt on all accounts. It really is. Stanley says your description of Snyder sounds like the squirrel in the Ice Age. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It really is. Did Walking Dead ruin the zombie? No, he didn't ruin the zombie genre. Zombie genre is only as ruined as the writer and director duo that are writing and directing the movies and TV shows and things like that. From what I understand, the woman who plays, Kate Ward, Ella Purnell, Dave Bautista's daughter in the movie, is supposedly signed on to do a TV series called Army of the Dead: Lost Vegas. And my guess is they're waiting to see how well this does before that gets picked up and put on Netflix, because I believe it's a Netflix series, if I'm not mistaken. So that is what she's supposed to be on next. And I think she's just in it for like the first episode to kind of hand off and go, see, it actually ties into this. And I can almost guarantee you that the TV show or the TV series, whatever it's going to be, is going to be better than whatever this movie was. Stanley says the Walking Dead series burnt me out on zombies personally, but probably not in general. It depends on your tolerance and if you can wean yourself off of it. So for me, Walking Dead just kind of got ridiculous. and I realized it was a soap opera that if you just watch the very beginning of the episode and the very end of the episode every week, then you would get the gist of everything else that was going on in between, which is really what soap operas are. You watch the Monday episode and you watch the Friday episode, and you get the whole gist of what's going on for the rest of the week, because the rest of the week is filler. Same thing like Walking Dead. The middle part of the episode is all filler. You just watch the very beginning and the very end, because the very end you get the cliffhanger, and the very beginning of the next week you get the resolution of what the cliffhanger is. That's really all there is to it. I hate to say it, but that's really what the formula is. Applecrow says, "Oh, good. I felt like she was the worst out of all the cast." Uh, I don't think it was that she was the worst. I don't think she was given enough. Applecrow, her character wasn't developed, but then again, none of the characters really were. And again, it's mind blowing. In 2.5 hours, you don't have really any character development at all in any of these characters. I didn't even realize that those two were related, because in the opening sequence, when you have Dave Bautista yelling at the woman and the child, when they see people that are fighting to leave Las Vegas as the zombies are approaching them and all that kind of stuff, and they're dropping the containers to wall off Las Vegas, and you see this woman and a child, they get surrounded by zombies, and I thought that was his wife and daughter. I really did, because we didn't know any better, because we weren't told who his wife and daughter was until they verbally said it, like, what is it, 30 or 40 minutes into the movie. Actually, when they were on the roof, well, actually, no, when he asked her for her help. That's pretty much it. And I think that was 40 minutes into the movie at that point. Stanley says the comic was just so much better and the farm was so annoying. I know, yeah. Raymond Cahill says, again, Walking Dead is not all bad guys. Half the episodes in a season are still mind-blowing, but I'm already invested. Hey, man, I watched 9 seasons of it, and I tapped out. So, and I'm good with it. I'm good with tapping out when I did. And I don't miss it at all. But then again, it was the same thing with Supernatural. I think 9 seasons is about my limit. And then I tapped out of that as well. And didn't look back and didn't miss any of it at all. No. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Joker. Joker says another Walking Dead series. Yeah, Beyond the Walking Dead, or the World Beyond is what it's called. It's supposed to be set 10 years after whatever the current year is, and these kids basically grew up with knowing nothing but the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I don't need to see that. I really don't need to see it. But anyway, what else do I have going on for the rest of the week? Well, tomorrow I'm off. Tuesday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's going to be another Netflix movie called The Mitchells versus the Machines. It's an animated movie. So The Mitchells versus the Machines. Wednesday and Thursday, I'm going to be off. Friday is going to be a new episode of The Bad Batch. And then Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where we take the genre news of the weekend. I know genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. There we go. So, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Mercenary X84. Welcome, by the way, Mercenary X84. I think it's the first we've heard from you. I still have yet to see Dawn of the Dead. You're really not missing much. If you really want to see a good movie called Dawn of the Dead, watch the Romero version. The Romero version is beautiful. It's classic, and I have it up here someplace. Yeah, it's someplace in my video collection there. But yeah, definitely watch the Romero version of Dawn of the Dead over the Snyder version of Dawn of the Dead. There's actually a commentary in the Romero version about consumerism. That's what you want out of a horror movie that actually has a little bit of message to it. And it's not like beating you over the head kind of messaging either. It's very subtle, but it's smartly done. It really is. Even though it's 1981, I want to say 1980, 1981. Yeah. Good movie. um, Stanley said, I'll never again watch any of the Walking Dead stuff. I'm just done with it. How about Stephen Yen? Yeah. Getting some recognition with Minari and Invincible. Yeah. I'm glad to see that he's actually starting to be, being taken seriously as an actor. I really do think he's a really good actor. And he's a really nice guy too. I met him when he was doing season 1 still. This is at the Image Comic Expo when they did that. And he actually signed my Walking Dead bag, which is someplace around here. But he's a really nice guy too. I got stuck in line for about 5 minutes, in front of him, Norman Reedus. And so we were all talking and stuff like that. It was pretty funny. And Norman, by the way, is just fucking hilarious and has stories for just about everything. So if you're ever out in Atlanta, I believe it is, Nick and Norman's, they have a restaurant. So it's Norman Reedus and Greg Nicotero, the special effects guy. They opened up a restaurant together called Nick and Norman's, and they actually do on Sunday nights when The Walking Dead's on, they do showings of it, and you get food and drink and all that kind of stuff. I actually follow them on Instagram. They have some good stuff they show every now and then, but they seem like just a fun bunch of guys. And I saw Greg Nicotero on the floor of Comic-Con one year, and he was talking to some of the people that were doing makeup effects on the floor, because they were, I believe, they were contestants or prospective contestants for Face Off, and that was what they were doing on the floor. There was to see how fast they could do the makeup artist there while being distracted and everything. And he was encouraging. He was actually seemed like a really nice guy. He really did. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking that out if you're ever in the Atlanta area. So, and I'm not getting paid by them either, just so you guys know. Yeah, there's nothing hinky about that. I'm not getting any kickbacks or anything like that. They just seem like nice guys. All right, everybody. I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Thank you very much for coming in and listening to me rant. I want to thank everybody in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the videos that pop up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button and the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, all the links to my pages here, YouTube and Facebook, and a Facebook group page. And you can take a look at all of that there. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Don't worry, JJ will soft reboot this franchise in 5 years. Thank God. Because I want to see JJ Abrams do a zombie movie too. Raymond says, as long as you don't sponsor Raid Shadow Legends, Dennis, you'll always be. You know what, man? I will sponsor anything as long as they back up a dump truck full of money to my driveway. That's pretty much all I want. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, a zombie tiger might bite your ass and throw you around and not turn you into a zombie for some reason, but just bite your face off. Who knows why? Thanks, everybody. I guess it just doesn't cross species, the virus, at that point. So, see, that would have been a funny joke right there, is that the zombie virus doesn't cross species. But yeah, anyway. Thanks, everybody. I will see you guys again on Tuesday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and have a good rest of your weekend. I know it's Sunday night, and have a good Monday. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Good night.